Click the link to MTG Burgeoning's Introduction to Planechase in the description below. There are some planes and phenomenons in Planechase that should be added to any planar deck, as the benefits to their inclusion can be realized during any portion of a game of Magic the Gathering. Factors like life gain, free mana, direct damage, drawing cards, and deck filtering are fundamental aspects of the game. With this in mind, why would you not include Spatial Mergin in your planar deck? Spatial Mergin is a phenomenon. A phenomenon in Planechase has an ability that triggers when it is encountered by its reveal from the top of the planar deck. When you encounter Spatial Mergin, reveal cards from the top of your planar deck until you reveal 2 plane cards. Simultaneously planeswalk to both of them. Put all other cards revealed this way on the bottom of your planar deck in any order. These planes and their respective static abilities remain until you planeswalk away. If you roll Chaos, then the Chaos abilities of each plane triggers. If there can be such a large disparity in planar resources, which should create a chasm-like difference in gameplay between you and your opponents, then why would you not include Spatial Mergin in your planar deck? There are some planes and phenomenons in Planechase that should not be added to any planar deck, as the detriments to their inclusion hinder your chances of claiming victory over your opponents. Randomly impacting combat, dealing self-inflicted direct damage, randomly destroying permanents, restricting your spells, and the most unforgivable circumstance of them all, helping your opponents. These are all factors that validate the decision to leave these cards out of your planar deck and keep them in your storage box instead. With this in mind, why would you include Skybreen in your planar deck? Players play with the top card of their libraries revealed. Yes, you can see what your opponents are drawing, but they can see what you're drawing as well. Spells that share a card type with the top card of a library can't be cast. Yes, this could prohibit your opponents from casting certain spells, but it can also prohibit you from casting certain spells as well. Imagine you and an opponent are playing tribal decks, and your other 2 opponents are playing a planeswalker deck and an enchantment deck, respectively. Most likely, the top card of the tribal player's decks will be creatures, while your other 2 opponents will cast planeswalker and enchantment spells unencumbered. Although the Chaos ability is relevant, as whenever you roll Chaos, target player loses life equal to the number of cards in their hand, it is not impactful enough to justify this plane's inclusion into your planar deck. With the detriment of spell casting restrictions in mind, why would you dedicate a slot on your planar deck for Skybreen? Why would you include Hedron Fields of Agadeem in your planar deck? Admittedly, there is some space in which this plane might be useful, but it seems very, very limited. Hedron Fields of Agadeem prevents any creatures with power 7 or greater from attacking or blocking. Sometimes games are won with some biggins. Sometimes games are won with armies of 1/1s. Sometimes games are won without combat. This plane's restriction is so narrow that it does not warrant inclusion into a planar deck. Even the added possibility of rolling Chaos and creating a 7/7 colorless Eldrazi token with Annihilator 1 does not sweeten the deal. This is EDH. 7/7 vanilla creatures are not going to be inordinately impactful, and Annihilator 1 can be chump sacrificed for days. With the detriment of wasting a valuable spot in your planar deck in mind, why would you dedicate a slot in your planar deck for Hedron Fields of Agadeem?